What's up, you guys? It's your girl Michelle back with another video, and by the title you already know what we're going to be talking about today. Today is my son's 6th birthday, my oldest son. It's his 6th birthday today, so I'm gonna be sharing with you guys the birth story. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below, and let's get started. Alright, so my son, NAASIR, today's his 6th birthday, and I feel all the feelings that you feel, right? But I figured this was a great time to go ahead and reflect a little bit. So I think it's very important to rehash and to reflect on your birth story, because sometimes things happen and we don't realize until like after we have a moment to sit down and think about it. And sometimes it's good to talk to those who were there, because they can remind you of different things or tell you different things that happened that you may not have been mentally there in the moment when it was happening. So let's go ahead and get started. So NAASIR was my technically 4th pregnancy, but my first boy. Now, for those that have, like me, had girls first and then finally got the boy, you know the excitement that you feel when you finally get the boy. So we were excited, spoiling him, and just so excited. And so I had a good, healthy pregnancy, you know, no scares, no anything, just had a good pregnancy. I had my doulas intact this time. My pregnancy prior to NAASIR, I only had postpartum doulas. So this time I was going in with a plan. I had my doulas intact. I had one of my closest friends at the time and one of my sisters, Maddie and Shakea. So I had them, they were my doulas at the time. So I was prepared this time. I'm doing my birth natural, like I am ready. So again, this was my first time having doulas a part of my actual pregnancy, labor, and delivery. I had postpartum doulas before, but not like this, not in this capacity. So I was excited. I was ready, like mentally, emotionally, like I had been prepared for the journey ahead of me. May 12th. Yep, May 12th, 2014, May 12th, 2014, forgot the year. May 12th, 2014, me and my husband had went to an appointment, you know, a little checkup. Then we were like, you know what, let's just go shopping a little bit at the mall and just walk around a little bit just to get some movement going. At this point, I was 1 month. I was 36 weeks. So I wasn't quite at my due date, but I was like, let's just walk around. I had been in pain. My son like literally sat in my ribs the last 2 months that I was pregnant. Nothing would move him. So it was just always this constant, him feeling like he was stuck in my ribs. And so I just wanted to walk, and I was like, you know what, I am so over this pregnancy. The whole time at the mall, we were shopping and buying stuff for him, and I was just like, bro, this can be over today. Like, I'm done. Like, I was so just tired of being in pain. If you've ever been pregnant, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so Nolan had like a orientation later that afternoon. And so I had already told my doula, hey, come over or whatever. It was only going to be me and my 2 daughters at the house with us, just chilling because Nolan was going to orientation. Finally, I got home with my 2 daughters. Nolan had already went to his orientation, so he was gone for the afternoon, the evening. And I was in pain. I was like, okay, this pain, I'm not just feeling real pain, I'm starting to feel cramps. So I'm like, okay, something's going on. Yeah, you know, whatever, I'm gonna rest it off. I decided to go upstairs, go to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, this is not normal. I'm bleeding. Now, this is my technically 4th pregnancy, so I know sometimes that could be normal in a sense, but at this present time, there was no reason for this to be happening, so I was confused. So I text my doula, you know, one of them. I was like, hey girl, something's going on. I don't know, just, you know, come up. She was already in the neighborhood anyway, picking up her daughter. But as I'm waiting for her, this bleeding is getting heavier. It's getting worse. The pain is getting worse. Like, I'm just like, something's wrong. So I called my doctor. My doula said, call your doctor. I'm en route. I'll be there. I called my doctor. My doctor says, no, you need to come in now. So I'm like, okay. Or no, you need to go in labor delivery now. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm hurting. I have my 2 younger daughters there, so I'm trying not to panic. Nolan had already left. He took the car to orientation. In this orientation, he could not have access to his phone. So I'm blowing his phone up. My sister is also in this orientation. I'm blowing her phone up. We're blowing everybody's phone up, but they can't access their phones in this orientation. So guess what? My mother-in-law at the time stayed like a block and a half away from us. So I'm like, hey, I got to go to labor and delivery. I have the girls with me. We don't have car seats. My doula's here, and we have to go. She was all the way out in Gresham. And I know you guys don't know what that means, but those that know Portland knows that she was all the way out deep in Gresham. And I had to go to Providence on Gleason. She managed to beat me to the hospital, and I was only 10 minutes. I was about 7-10 minutes away from the hospital. Like, so I'm trying to stay calm. We drive around to my mother-in-law's house. So me, my daughters, my doula, her daughter, we get a little suitcase ready, and we drive around to my mother-in-law's house just to see if there was another car there that I could get into to get car seats out of. There was not. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm trying to remain calm. I'm hurting, I'm leaking, I'm nervous, but I'm not trying to scare my 2 daughters that are with me. My doula is freaking out. And she's trying with all her might to not freak out, but I can read energy. She was freaking out. Like, she was like just a nervous wreck. And I love her. But it was just so unexpected. Like, we didn't know what was wrong. And she was a new doula at the time. So I knew it was kind of like a scary situation. And so, again, what should have been like a 7-minute drive from my house or my mother-in-law's house to the hospital turned out to be like a 15-20 minute drive because she was so nervous. She was getting frantic, like she didn't know, oh my God, what direction am I going? I'm like, well, girl, why are you going this way? And I'm trying to be calm and nice because I don't want to be rude and make her more whatever. So I'm like, hey, you got to turn right here, talking her through it. Finally we get to the hospital. Finally I get a hold of Nolan as I'm on the way to the hospital. I let him know, hey, I have to go to the hospital. Something's going on. So they leave their training, which wasn't too far from our house. So they met us there. We got to the hospital. I got checked in. So my doula has my 2 daughters. My mother-in-law meets me there to be supportive. But my doula is like, hey, I'm going to care for them. So she kind of, because she was like a sister to me, she kind of took like the auntie role and was like, I'm going to make sure they're okay. Because she knew, like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't need them in here seeing what's going on with me. Like, I'm scared and so many other things. Like, I don't need them around that. So she kind of like took the auntie role and took the children. Nolan and my sister Star got there. And I believe, nope, Star did not come. Star did not come. Only Nolan came. So Nolan came to the hospital. Shakea was like, you know what? I'm going to take the girls. Because at that point, they had checked me and realized I was not dilated. And on top of that, I had what they called placental abruption. Pretty much my placenta detaches from the uterine wall. And of course, you bleed with that. Now, by the time I had gotten there, and even being there, waiting to see what was going on, I was losing a lot of blood. So at this point, they're like, you're not dilated, but you have lost a lot of blood. We have to go ahead and do an emergency C-section. And I'm like, wait, that wasn't in my birth plan. That was not a part of my birth plan. And so I'm like, okay. And they're like, right now you're losing so much blood. We have to hurry up and do this, get baby out, get you taken care of. But right now I'm like, what the heck? So Nolan goes and helps Shakea because the girls are flipping out at this point. Nolan assists with them. She takes them, get them all situated. But I have to hurry up and go and get the C-section. So my mother-in-law comes with me to get the C-section. And the C-section, right before you get the C-section, they tell you everything that could go possibly wrong. Like, he told me I could die. He told me I could stop breathing. Like, the anesthesiologist told me all type of stuff that can happen to me while I'm having a C-section. I'm like, and you think that puts me in a good mental space while I'm about to go and get cut open? That is horrible. So all the time thinking like, oh Allah, because whew. And I've heard the horror stories about people dying in C-sections and babies dying. I just knew too many horror stories. So for him to give me all the information going into having an emergency C-section, I was so like, what the hell is going on? Needless to say, I go in to have an emergency C-section. After the epidural, they whisk me in, freezing, absolutely freezing in this room, in the surgery room. It was just so freezing and cold, and I just was like, kept telling myself, keep breathing, because for some reason I felt like I was not breathing. Like, I was like, keep breathing, and they talked me through it. The doctor talked me through it. It wasn't my doctor. That was another thing. My doctor wasn't on call that day, so one of her friend doctors had to deliver the baby, which is fine. We alive and we're good, but still. So baby comes out. They show me him. He's huge. At this point, they're trying to stop the bleeding. So that took a while, and they're just talking to me. Oh, he's huge. He cries, and I was just like, oh my God, he's finally here. Like, he looks so huge to me. And my mother-in-law, she's just, holding my hand, talking to me, telling me how he looks and everything like that. And so my husband is waiting, because the plan was after delivery, make sure baby is fine, take baby to dad, so dad can at least have the baby, and he can get, feed baby and etc. Because for me, they had to stop the bleeding, but not only that, I had to have 3 blood transfusions, and then after the blood transfusions, I had to be in a whole different recovery room recovering, to make sure that pretty much that I took the blood transfusion well, but I couldn't see my baby, I think for up to 2 hours after delivering him. And that was the craziest thing. Like, I was like, oh my God. And I felt so tired, so drained, but I just wanted to see my baby. And so finally I got back to my room with my baby, and when they put him in my hands, I just wanted to cry. So after that, the healing process from that was not bad. We had a scare too. I had to be rushed to the emergency room because my body, like, I don't know what my body did. I could not move. One night I woke up in the middle of the night and I could not move, and so we had to call emergency 911. Like, I couldn't move and I couldn't breathe. And they said it was like a spasm. So, and that was why. But other than that, my C-section recovery was amazing. I was up moving, climbing stairs and everything else. Not trying to prove anything to myself, but I felt good enough to do those things. And so I'm really sharing this story because I think it's good to reflect on birth stories, because sometimes when we go back, we can pick up other details that we probably necessarily would have missed. And so, but also it's my son's 6th birthday. And so thinking about how he got here and his journey of getting here and his name and what his name means, NAASIR, Jabril, like, it just puts me in a reflective space. I'm very reflective. So I just want to share that story time with you guys. Let me know if you guys have had a scary birth story. Like, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, so I'm getting ready to go celebrate my big boy. Although we are in home, we still celebrate in home. He got all kind of gifts he don't even know about hidden in his house. So getting ready to celebrate him. So I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this birth story. I know it was a bit crazy, but let me know if you have a crazy birth story or a scary birth story down below in the comments. And until next time, your girl is out. Peace.